Edward Snowden's revelations about the U.S. far-reaching surveillance program has sparked increased interest in encrypted communication, not just from the public. Email provider Lavabit came under government scrutiny after it was revealed it had been used by Snowden himself. The owner chose to shut down the company after its founder refused to cooperate with the U.S. government. Lavabit's owner, Ladar Levison, live with us now here on RT. Thanks for joining us here on RT. So why did you choose to shut down the company rather than comply with the government order?
Well, I can't speak to whether or not there was a government order, but what I can say is that if I had continued to operate, I felt like it would have put me in a ethically compromising position. In other words, the service no longer would have been what I intended it to be, which was a secure and private method of communication for Americans.
So you posted a message online saying that you were in an impossible situation, that either you would, I quote you here, become complicit in crimes against the American people or walk away from a decade of your hard work. What do you think you would have faced if you didn't shut down the service?
I probably would have continued to make a living. In fact, I was enjoying quite a bit of success in the last month. Increased revenue, increased traffic because of attention drawn to the service when the media started reporting that Lavabit was used by Snowden. We had our best month in our 10-year history the month before I shut down. I just felt that given certain requests that were being made of my service, that if I had continued to operate it, like I said, it would no longer have been what I claimed it to be, which was a secure and private service. I think it's important for me to say that, you know, I didn't do what I did to protect a single person. I did what I did because I felt it was important to protect the privacy of all my users. And I didn't think I could continue to do that if I continued to operate.
So at some point, I know that it's difficult for you to speak with a lot of specificity about this because I understand the government has some kind of legal framework which amounts to almost a gag order around you about some of the specifics. But if you had continued to operate while saying no to the government, what do you think you could have faced?
Well, when you say no to the government, they have the ability to take everything. They have the ability to take your business, take your money, and take your freedom. And there really isn't all that much you can do about it. I was looking at the very real possibility of an impossible debt and possibly being put in jail and still not being able to tell people why I was even in jail. I mean, that's what left me in such an impossible position. Let me be clear. I understand the need for keeping who was under investigation secret. What I'm opposed to is using secrecy around the methods that are used to conduct that surveillance. I think the American public has a right to know what their government is doing and what information it's collecting on its own citizens. And the fact that they were trying to cover that up effectively, I had a real problem with. I hope that.
So what do you think is next for you in this? What do you think is next for you in this case? I mean, are you going to continue pursuing this sort of these goals, which you think maybe are altruistic, or do you think you're going to try and take maybe a more effortless tact?
I'm going to keep standing on my soapbox and shouting as loudly as I can for as long as people will listen. My biggest fear when I shut down the service is that nobody would notice, nobody would care. And my biggest hope was that when I shut down the service, it would lead to some positive change. You know, I'm going to continue fighting for a strong precedent via the court system, and I'm going to continue to lobby Congress for a change in the laws because I think the way things are today, it's impossible for an American company to truly offer a secure service or even provide secure software. If our government has the mandate and the legal authority to require companies like mine to effectively put a back door into an otherwise secure system, I think that's a real problem for our cloud data services industries. And I've heard the number thrown around that already what's been revealed is going to, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I actually hadn't asked you anything, but it's okay. I want to jump in with another question. You wrote online that without congressional action or strong judicial precedent, that you would advise users against trusting a company that has physical ties to the U.S. Why is that? And, well, just answer that question first, then I may throw in another.
Certainly. Lavabit certainly wasn't the first company to be approached. And we weren't the first company to try and fight. The fact is, others have gone before us and they've lost. And it's become quite clear to me over the last couple of months that all of the major providers here in the U.S. Have provided our government with real-time access to the private information of their users. And they don't really have a choice about it, and they don't really have the ability to tell anybody about it. So the fact is, if you trust your data to a company, even if they haven't already been approached and been required to provide access, the simple fact is they could be in the future. Unless, like I said, that judicial precedent is set or Congress takes action.
We've seen other companies, including, I can think, Mega Upload and Pirate Bay, moving to places, physical places, putting their servers in places that are outside the laws of countries that they feel may affect their business. Do you think that's something that's an option for you, or other companies looking to preserve privacy to simply base your servers in a country that doesn't have these kind of ties with the U.S.?
Yeah, it certainly is an option, and it's one that I'm looking into. The problem that I've run into so far, besides the simple logistics of language and distance and knowledge, is that as an American, if I were to continue running the service, even if it was physically based in another country, I could still be required to compromise the security of that system. And I could literally be put in a position where I'm forced to choose between breaking the laws of the country in which the service is hosted or breaking the laws of the United States. And of course, my legal team is looking into that right now, and we're trying to figure out if it's possible for me to do that.
I need to jump in, unfortunately.
The only option, yeah.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thanks very much for your time. I appreciate your insight. Ladar Levison, owner of Lavabit. Thank you.